My mail kept going missing. Then one day, I found a torn envelope in their trash can addressed to me. When I knocked, they said, "You must have dropped it." I nodded and ordered something else. Expensive, trackable, and marked with a trap. Let me start from the beginning. I moved into this house in Wilmington, North Carolina, after my divorce. It's not much, 3-bedroom, old brick, sits on a quiet street with crabgrass poking through every sidewalk crack. The kind of neighborhood where people mow their lawns every other weekend and leave faded Christmas lights up until April. It was supposed to be a fresh start. I wanted quiet. I wanted routine. I wasn't looking to make friends. The first time I noticed something off was about 6 months ago. I was waiting on a new debit card. Mine had expired. The bank said it was sent, but I never got it. Thought maybe it got stuck in the system. So I ordered another. Never arrived. Then it was a birthday card from my sister. She texted, "Hope you like the $50 I tucked in. Treat yourself." I told her thanks, but the envelope had never come. That's when I started to worry. I called the post office. The lady there, polite but rushed, checked my address. "Says it was delivered," she said. "Might have gone to a neighbor by accident. Happens sometimes." Sure, accidents happen, but it kept happening. Not every piece of mail, just the ones that mattered. Cards, bills. One time, a small Amazon package, just a charger for my laptop, was marked as delivered. Never showed. I even stood outside one day and watched the mail truck pull up. The guy slid envelopes into my box. I gave him a wave. He waved back. I waited until he left, then walked over. The mailbox was empty. I started to get this feeling in my gut. Like someone was watching. Like someone was messing with me. The only person who could have done it was my neighbor. Her name's Erin. She lives in the house right next to mine, maybe 15 feet away. Pale yellow siding, green shutters, a garden that looks dead year-round except for one hanging fern. She's always polite. Overly polite. Every day around 2:30, she checks her mailbox. Not early. Not late. And every time I happen to be out there, she gives me that sugary smile and says something pointless. "Hot enough for you today? Looks like you trimmed that bush back." Or once, "You get any of that Amazon stuff lately?" Mine's been showing up late. That stuck with me. I hadn't told anyone anything about my mail. Then one day, I came home from work early. Around noon, I pulled into my driveway and saw Erin walking from my mailbox back toward her door. She had something white in her hand, an envelope. When she saw me, she paused. Then she smiled. Waved. I didn't say anything. Just watched. The next morning, trash day, I wheeled my bin out to the curb. On my way back, I passed by hers. The lid wasn't all the way closed. Just sitting there, cracked open like someone hadn't bothered to press it down. I don't know what made me look. I swear I wasn't trying to snoop. But I lifted the lid. Right there, sitting on top of a pile of grocery bags and junk mail, was a torn envelope. My name. My address. It had been ripped straight down the middle. No card inside. No return address. Just shredded. I stood there for a full 30 seconds. Then I picked it up, walked to her front door, and knocked. She opened it after a few seconds. Her smile was automatic. "Oh, hey hon, what's up?" I held out the envelope. "I found this in your trash." Her face didn't even twitch. "Oh, you must have dropped it. In your garbage?" She laughed, light and easy. Wind does strange things. Blows stuff all over. I didn't answer. Just looked at her. She stared back for a second too long. Then said, "Anyway, gotta get back to my show. You have a good day, okay?" And she closed the door. That night, I sat at my kitchen table and stared at that envelope. I didn't call the police. What would I even say? My neighbor's throwing away my mail, but I can't prove she's the one taking it. So I made a plan. I ordered the Bluetooth speaker. Expensive. $299. I made sure it required a signature. But I also added a note to the label in tiny red letters behind the flap. "Do not open. Surveillance in use." And I made sure it was scheduled to arrive the following Tuesday, right when I knew I'd be home. Tuesday came. I worked from home that day, kept checking the tracking. Out for delivery. Then, delivered. Timestamp. 2:36 p.m. I had the blinds cracked just enough to see the mailbox from my couch. But nothing was there. No box.
No knock.
No signature asked for. I opened the front door. No package. I stood there for a second, heart hammering. Then I walked down my driveway, slow, casual, like I wasn't angry, like I wasn't shaking.
I glansede her porte.
Nothing. But something caught my eye through her front window. Just for a second. The corner of a cardboard box, set on a chair near the hallway. I went back inside. I waited. I gave it 2 hours. Then I walked over again and knocked. This time, she didn't answer right away. Took her a good minute. Then she opened it, hair a little messy, eyes not quite as cheerful. Oh, hey. Everything okay? I smiled.
Yeah.
Just wondering if you happened to get a package by mistake today? I was expecting something, but it's marked delivered. She looked right at me. Nope. Nothing here. I nodded. You sure? She crossed her arms. I don't take people's mail. You know that's a federal crime, right? That last line, it hit strange. Too fast. Too defensive. I held her gaze. Okay. Just thought I'd ask. Then I walked away. Inside, I sat down, opened my laptop, and pulled up the footage. I'd hidden a small security camera inside a solar light I placed near the sidewalk, aimed at the mailbox. I'd only bought it last week. Just a cheap one from Walmart, but it did the job. The footage was clear enough. 2:32 p.m., mail truck arrives. Leaves the package at my door. 2:35 p.m., Erin walks over in slippers. Picks up the box. Tucks it under her arm. Looks around. Walks straight back into her house. I recorded it. Saved it on 3 devices. I even printed screenshots. But I didn't go back over there. Not yet. Instead, I printed a note. Big bold letters. To the person stealing my mail. I have you on video. Return the package by tomorrow or the police get the footage. No name.
No threats.
Just the truth. I folded the paper, sealed it in an envelope, and slipped it into her mailbox around 10 p.m. Then I waited. By 9 the next morning, the package was back. No knock, no note. Just sitting on my porch like nothing had happened. Still taped shut, but I could tell it had been opened, badly resealed with a different kind of tape, thinner and glossy. Not what Amazon uses. I brought it inside. Carefully peeled it open. The speaker was still there, but not in the factory wrapping. It had clearly been taken out, maybe tested, maybe used. The red ink warning on the label was still there, but she hadn't noticed it. I didn't smile. I didn't feel proud. I just felt tired. I took photos of everything.
Kept the video.
But I didn't go to the police. Not yet. That night, she knocked on my door. I opened it, didn't say anything. Erin stood there holding a tin of cookies. Hey, hon, she said, soft and cheerful. I baked too many, and thought you might want some. I looked at the tin. Then back at her. You can just leave it there. She didn't move. You know, she said, it's easy to make mistakes. People see what they want to see. You accuse someone and maybe you're wrong. Maybe things just got mixed up. I didn't answer. Her smile twitched. Just something to think about. Then she placed the tin on the step and walked away. That's when I knew she wasn't scared. She wasn't apologizing.
She was warning me.
I opened the tin 2 hours later. Didn't eat the cookies. Just checked inside. There was a folded note. It said, "Some things are better left alone. We've both got things to lose." My stomach dropped. I didn't know what she meant. But I believed her. That night, I locked every door. Every window. I didn't sleep. And the next day, I found something new in my mailbox. A printed photo, me, sitting on my porch, reading the return note from her mailbox the night before. Taken from behind her curtains. I stared at that photo for a long time. It wasn't grainy. It wasn't some fuzzy cell phone shot. It was clear. Centered. printed on glossy paper like she'd gone to Walgreens and used the photo kiosk. She wanted me to know she was watching. I didn't throw it away. I tucked it into a drawer right next to the USB drive where I kept the footage of her stealing the package. I still hadn't gone to the police. I still wasn't sure why. Maybe I didn't want this to become something official. Maybe I wanted control. Or maybe, deep down, I wanted to see where this would go. I bought another camera.
Not a hidden one this time.
A big, obvious one. I screwed it above the garage, aimed right at the mailbox. Let her see it. Let her wonder. For a few weeks, everything stopped. Mail came like normal. Packages showed up and stayed put. No new threats. No more notes. Erin smiled when she saw me, but it wasn't warm anymore. It was thin.
Forced.
The kind of smile people wear when they're calculating something behind their teeth. Then one Thursday, I came home and found the front door unlocked. Nothing was taken. Nothing looked touched. But I knew I had locked it that morning. I double-checked every day. Always. I changed the locks that night. 2 days later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Typed, not handwritten. It said, "You can put up cameras. You can play pretend. But don't forget, this started after you moved in. It wasn't always like this here." I read that line over and over. It wasn't always like this here. It sounded like a threat. Or maybe the confession. So I started digging. I looked up the property records for her house. Found the previous owner. A man named Calvin Moore. Sold the house to Erin 5 years ago. Then I searched him. There wasn't much. But I did find one thing, a local news article. Small. Barely a paragraph. Calvin Moore, 62, was found dead in his home on Millbrook Avenue from what officials called natural causes. Neighbors reported not seeing him for several days. No foul play suspected. That's all it said.
But something about it stuck with me.
No foul play suspected. Like they'd thought about it. Like someone had to say it out loud. And that's when I noticed the date. Calvin died in June. Erin bought the house in July. 1 month. 1 month between a man dying alone and her moving in. I called the number listed on the deed.
Got a voicemail.
"This is Calvin. Leave a message." I hung up. Then I searched for obituaries. Nothing. No family listed. No funeral mentioned. Just gone. And for the first time since this started, I realized Erin hadn't been here long either. She'd just made herself look like she had. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about Calvin Moore. No family, no obituary, no follow-up articles. Just a man who died of natural causes and disappeared from memory. And then Erin, showing up like she'd always belonged here. Like she'd been part of the neighborhood forever. I decided to knock on a few doors. Started with the house across the street, an older guy named Bruce. I'd seen him trimming his hedges a few times. Figured he might have lived here long enough to remember. "Hey," I said when he opened the door. "Can I ask you something kind of strange?" He chuckled. "Son, at my age, everything's strange." I asked about Calvin. He rubbed his chin. "Calvin Moore, yeah, I remember." Kept to himself mostly. Friendly though. Always had a book in his hand. Then one day, bam.
Dead.
I heard it was a heart attack, or something. No one found him for 3 days. Did he have family? Bruce shook his head. Not that I ever saw. No visitors. Just him and the house. Sad, really. What about Erin? I asked. How long she lived there? He looked surprised. Erin?
Oh, huh.
I always thought she was his niece or cousin or something. Moved in real fast after he passed. Folks figured it was family taking over. Never really questioned it. That stopped me cold. She told people she was family. I walked home slowly. My mind was spinning. Back inside, I pulled out the original deed record again. Calvin's name. Then Erin's. But no link between them. No transfer of estate. Just a standard purchase. A full cash buy. I called the county clerk's office the next day. Asked if there was a will or probate case on file for Calvin Moore. The woman on the phone said, no record of probate. No filed will. So, how did the house sell?
I asked.
She paused. Looks like it was listed by a third-party clean-out service. Sometimes happens when there's no next of kin. House sits long enough, city takes over, liquidates the asset. Rare but legal. So Erin hadn't inherited the house. She'd bought it. Quick and quiet. That night, I dug deeper. I found a post on an old message board, local Wilmington stuff, dated about a year after she moved in. Anyone know what happened to the guy who lived on Millbrook Avenue? The one who always fed the cats? Heard something weird. No one had responded. So I made an anonymous post. Just 4 words. Check the trash bins. The next morning, another note was in my mailbox. Typed again. But this time, shorter. I warned you. And it wasn't just a note. It came with something else, a Polaroid of my bedroom window, taken at night, from outside. I knew that view. It was taken from my backyard. That meant she'd been behind my house. Close enough to see me sleeping. Close enough to open the door again, if she wanted to. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the couch with the lights off, holding the Polaroid in one hand and my phone in the other. I kept checking the locks. I even pushed the couch up against the front door. I didn't care how paranoid it looked. Something had shifted. This wasn't about missing mail anymore. This was personal. The next morning, I took the photo and the typed note to the police. I didn't expect much, but I needed it on record. The officer behind the glass didn't say much while I explained. Just nodded and scribbled a few things. Do you have video footage of her near your house? He asked. No, just at the mailbox. And the Polaroid, she had to be in my backyard to take it. He raised an eyebrow. But no footage of her actually trespassing? I shook my head. Well, he said, without that, it's technically not a crime to take a photo from outside, even if it's creepy. We can do a wellness check. Let her know she's being watched too. I didn't like that idea. Tipping her off felt worse. I just asked for the incident to be logged. Left the station feeling like I'd just made it worse. That night, something changed. I came home and found her trash can tipped over in the middle of her driveway. Trash everywhere. Coffee grounds, takeout containers, receipts. And sitting right on top, almost placed there on purpose, was a bank envelope. One of those stiff white ones with the tear-off sides. I picked it up without thinking. My name was on it. My name. But not my handwriting. Inside was a check. A personal check. Written out to me. For $5,000. Memo line. To make this stop.
No signature. Nubank logo.
Just a blank, dead check. I took it and walked straight back to my house. Tore it in half. Then into fourths. Then I lit it in the sink. But it wasn't over. That same night, I got a phone call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. The message was only 4 seconds long. Breathing. That's it. Just breathing.
Soft. Calm.
Like someone watching something happen. I blocked the number. The next day, my camera was gone. Ripped right off the wall. Bracket still there. Wires dangling. The camera itself nowhere to be found. And I knew exactly who had taken it. But there was still no proof. Nothing the police would act on. No fingerprints, no footage, no break-in. So I stopped going to them. Instead, I bought something else. A trail cam. Battery-powered. No wires. No blinking lights. Meant for hunting. I hid it inside the ivy along my backyard fence. Pointed straight at my bedroom window. And waited. It took 5 nights. 5 nights of waiting. Nothing. Just wind through the trees and the distant hum of cars from the main road. Then on the 6th night, I checked the footage. There she was.
2:14 nachts.
She crept into the frame from the left, wearing a dark hoodie, moving slow, almost careful. She stood near my window for a long time. 10 minutes, maybe more. Just standing there. Not moving.
Staring.
Then she walked up to the window, leaned in close, and pressed something against the glass. I paused the footage.
Zoomed in.
It was a photo. Another Polaroid.
Of me. Sleeping.
From the night before. I didn't even remember turning over in bed, but the angle showed my face, the pillow, the shape of my body under the blanket. The photo was grainy, but clear enough to recognize. She'd been there before. At least once. I hit play again. She held the photo there for a moment, then stepped back, looked directly into the camera, and smiled. She knew.
She always knew.
I called a friend, Jake, from across town. Told him I needed a place to crash for a while. Didn't give details. Just packed a bag and left before dark. I didn't go back the next day. Or the next. Jake didn't ask questions. Just handed me a beer and said, "Stay as long as you want." I slept better the first night, but not by much. Every sound still felt like footsteps. Then, on the third night, I got a text. No number. Just a burner. It said, "You can leave. But this place remembers. And it doesn't forget who runs it." That's when I realized it was never just about me. Erin didn't move in after Calvin died. She was waiting. And now that I was gone, someone else was going to move in. Someone who wouldn't know to watch the trash bins. Or change the locks. Or check the window at night. I still check the listing sometimes, just to see if someone's moved in yet. And I keep thinking, when they do, should I warn them? Or would it even matter? Because by the time you realize something's wrong, she's already smiling at you from across the yard.